It's the show that magicians around the globe don't want you to see. The masked magician is back, out of hiding, daring to expose the world's most highly guarded secrets. You'll find out how they perform amazing appearances, death-defying escapes, baffling levitations, astounding vanishes, mind-blowing sleight of hand, and impossible illusions. No magician is too famous, no trick too big, no secret too sacred. The magician's code will be forever broken on magic's biggest secrets finally revealed. Tonight, the masked magician pulls back the curtain and exposes the secrets to crushing a beautiful woman with a steel plunger and making her vanish while suspended in midair, floating through a solid steel frame without wires, plus penetrating a plate glass window without shattering it to pieces. And much more, right now on Magic's Biggest Secrets finally revealed.
This corrugated metal enclosure will be the site of the magician's first illusion tonight. As we can see, the enclosure is completely empty and free from magical gimmicks. Inside is an empty steel frame. Before the magician is a steel panel. It's also empty, solid, and free from gimmicks. Attached are these thick straps. When straps are securely attached to something, you know they'll be securely strapping someone. And here's that special someone now, the magician's beautiful assistant. She steps up onto the panel so that we can get a better look at her latest outfit. It's a nice one. Next, she gets down onto the panel and prepares to recline. The magician calls in 2 male assistants to help him. Apparently, she's more than he can handle. The assistants strap the girl to the panel, just as I suspected. At least she's dressed for it. Remember, there are no camera tricks involved. The magician checks the strap and does some conjuring while he's at it. He calls in 2 more assistants, and the 4 men lift the panel and carry it into the metal enclosure. They position the panel within the empty steel frame and lock it in place. We can see how tightly the girl is strapped down. He doesn't want her to get away. Next, the assistants remove the metal braces so that we have a clear view of the girl within the metal enclosure. Watch. The magician gives us another look at the girl, and for this, I'm grateful. He conjures a cloud of smoke, a flash. She's gone. The girl and the steel panel have vanished in an instant. But where did she go? We'll just have to wait for the magician to show us how it's done. So how did the magician make his lovely assistant vanish while suspended in midair? It's not a camera trick. Here are the secrets. The first secret is in the sheet metal enclosure. Concealed in the back wall is a secret panel, behind which is a stagehand. We'll learn more about his role later. When the illusion begins, the girl is strapped to the metal panel. The magician and his assistants take great care to strap the girl securely so she can't go anywhere. Next, the panel is moved to the metal framework inside the enclosure. The framework contains several secrets. First off, the straps are real and it's critical to the girl's safety that they are securely fastened. They're padded for her comfort. But we'll get to that in a minute. When the assistants are securing the panel to the frame, what you don't notice is that they're releasing secret latches positioned in the corners of the frame. See? The latches flip out of the way. During the performance, the magician appears to conjure a puff of smoke and an explosion, and the girl is gone. But where did she go? Remember the stagehand hidden behind this secret panel? At the precise moment the explosion goes off, the stagehand opens his window and releases a lever on the frame that rotates the panel and the girl, concealing her from view. Now she is being supported by the padded straps, which protect her from falling to the floor below. The entire mechanism is designed so that this one tiny lever is all the stagehand needs to release in order to make the entire panel flip and conceal the girl. These safety spring locks are built into the frame to stop the panel after precisely 1/2 rotation. So if the girl is strapped to the back of the solid panel, how can we see through the frame to the sheet metal wall? The secret here is that there is a mirror attached to the back side of the panel. When the panel rotates to conceal the girl, the side with the mirror is exposed and reflects the ceiling of the enclosure. The girl appears to have vanished, but we're actually seeing a reflection of the metal ceiling in the mirror. This is one trick that really is done with smoke and mirrors. Next, the masked magician will perform a trick that street magicians have used to mystify unsuspecting victims who end up believing in freakish powers. He'll use a deck of cards and an assistant as his random volunteer. He begins removing the cards a few at a time, telling the girl to say stop whenever she wants. And she does. The card that remains at the top of the stack is offered for her inspection. The magician turns his back so we can get a better look at the card and the girl. King of Clubs. He asks her to hold the card tightly to her chest. Lucky card. Then he shows her an ordinary lighter. That's a real flame. So remember, don't try this at home. Ouch! That's what happens when you play with fire. See? A blister. Painful. There it is, as if we needed a better look. Next, he tells the girl to concentrate on her card, promising to reveal it with his freaky powers. Looks like she wants him to prove it. Again, he takes the lighter and pinches the flame. Ouch! I told him it was hot. But what's this? Burned into his flesh are a K and a club for the King of Clubs. Freaky, isn't it? But I bet he's burning to tell us the secret. So, how did the magician reveal that he knew the chosen card by branding the image in his flesh? Here are the secrets. Let's start with the cards. The magician knew which card the girl would choose all along, because before the trick began, he marked the location of the King of Clubs with his little finger. He removes a few cards, and when the girl tells him to stop, he removes one final stack. The card on top of the remaining pile is the one he offers to the girl. This is how he makes sure she chooses the king. The magician knows which card she'll choose, but how does he brand the symbols into his skin? The secret here is concealed within the lighter. Embossed into the sides of the lighter are stencils representing 3 values on one side and 3 suits on the other. The small circle on the bottom is the stencil the magician uses to convince us that he's caused a blister with the lighter. He turns his back as the volunteer shows her card, and at the same time he's gripping the bottom of the lighter tightly. The circle leaves a temporary impression on his thumb that looks like a blister. He pretends to burn his thumb and shows us the phony blister to prove it. Next, he tells the girl to think of her card and promises her he can guess what it is. He's really just stalling as he squeezes his thumb and forefinger against the stencils for the club and the king. This tight pressure will leave the appropriate markings in his flesh. When he pretends to burn himself the second time, he can reveal the impressions which have been secretly left by the stencils. And now, you know the secrets. For his next illusion, the magician will employ this curious-looking device that has a long plunger on one end. Resting on a thin table, this large box is shown to be completely empty. Both the front and back sides are open, so we can see everything. The magician calls in one of his beautiful assistants. Looking at her costume, we can almost see everything. He wants us to take a good look at the girl, because she's about to get inside that box. A perfect fit, just like her costume. The magician calls in his other assistants and the fun begins. They draw shades in the back and the front of the box and secure them to the face of the plunger. The line drawing on the front is a fair depiction of the girl inside, with a little artistic license here and there. We get the idea. He hands the girl a red silk handkerchief as a lovely parting gift. Whenever a girl gets into a magical box, we can assume something is about to happen to her. As she continues to wave bye-bye, the magician backs up to the end of the plunger. Without warning, he pushes the plunger forward, presumably crushing everything in its path. But the girl is still waving. There's barely enough room for her inside. She pulls the handkerchief into the box, and the magician pushes the plunger all the way forward, completely crushing the girl. As we can see, there is nothing left inside the box except for the long plunger. The girl has been completely flattened. Her lovely co-workers don't seem to mind. Catty. The magician withdraws the plunger, and we can see that nothing untoward has happened to the line drawing of the girl. But will her amazing lines fare so well? The assistants rotate the box so we can see that the shade and back has also been restored to its original condition. And now to get a look inside. He gives a magical wave and commands one of the assistants to open the shade. There's the girl, and she's not the least bit flattened. Another incredible illusion that demands a credible explanation. So how did the magician crush his assistant flat as a pancake?